At number 2 worst, I've got Prime Cut, leading to Dust being my absolute least favorite episode.
We got there, buddy. Yeah. My number 1 least favorite episode, Dust to fucking Dust. Yeah. Buddy, put it up. Put it up.
We matched on the one that counted, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Dust to Dust.
Let's start with Prime Cut.
That first day we were here, Tracker was frightened by these wooden stakes and my cross.
Yeah, so?
Yeah, so those are things that,
Come on, out with it.
Those are things that vampires are afraid of.
So
Prime Cut. Prime Cut, both these are so bad.
They're just terrible.
You know what's funny? We got there, folks. We fucking got there. I was genuinely like, we're gonna talk about every fucking episode of this goddamn season. But I genuinely thought, I watched Dust to Dust and I went, this is so bad. Yeah. There's no way Mark has tolerance for this. I just knew. I was like, I know. Bullshit. I'm like, you won't put up with this.
Right.
And Prime Cut also sucked, but it didn't offend me enough.
The funny thing is, these two are like right at the end of the
it's
way
like
that
18, 19 or something.
So like at this point, I've gone through so many bad episodes that for an episode to come in and trump all of the other ones that I've already seen,
shit.
It has to be that bad because you get numb after a certain point. You're just like, whatever, shove it in the middle, whatever. No. This one they come in.
They come in hot.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Prime Cut. Here we go.
So starts with some stock footage of Vietnam. And then we find out that a character played by the actor Tony Dow. Do you know what he's from?
No, I didn't know anyone.
Oh, yeah. Tony Dow.
Is this the Johnny character?
He's the
lead. Schlubby guy. Yeah. Okay.
He's your lead for the next sort of 2 episodes.
Yeah.
You're a young guy, but you won't know Leave It to Beaver. He played Wally, the older brother of Beaver Cleaver. Yeah. So now, to be fair,
in case you ever wondered how old Mark was, Mark is like 70 years old.
Apparently.
Like, he's ancient.
I didn't watch it. I mean, this show was from
Mark
like the
grew
50s
up
or something.
on Leave It to Beaver.
But like my dad would have watched this.
Or whatever.
You know it. Yeah. So
is that the Leave It to Beaver thing? It's not hard for him to forget. He watched it every morning.
Am I going to be doing like a show tune every episode? Something?
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
All right. Leave It to Beaver.
Anyway, so it turns out he kind of wakes up and it realizes that him and some of his friends, I guess from work, I don't know.
They're on a hunting trip.
They're on like some kind of...
They're on a hunting trip. That's what it is. They're on a hunting trip and they hire this like blonde babe to be their guide.
Called Tracker.
Yeah, she's like...
It's not her name, but that's what they...
They refer to her as Tracker for some reason, but they're just like these... They're just like us. They're just like regular doofy middle-aged guys.
Older than us.
Yeah. Older than...
no. He's got to be older than me.
Older than one of us. I don't know that they're older than both of us. Easy there, Beeve. So
he's got me there.
So then, they hire this like babe to be like their guide, and
she kind of just emerges out of the forest on top of some cliff. And do you remember what she says?
No.
Better keep up if you want to sleep with me.
If you're gonna sleep with me, you better get going.
Hey, I believe we've died and gone to Playboy heaven.
So right away,
there's some weird sexual innuendo. She's like kind of playing with them.
Like she'd never met them before.
Right.
Like,
and it's also funny because like immediately all of them are just like, whoa,
all 3
this
of them.
chick's hot. And like 2 of them are like married, but of course that means nothing on Freddy's Nightmares. And they all want to fuck her.
Yeah.
Like immediately.
Right away.
Right away.
So obviously they hop to and they start going. But then like, you know,
so then they slow roll this, but it's shit. She starts like exhibiting like weird behavior.
Right.
So it's like the guy, she's like, all right, set up the tent. And then like, I think it's the Johnny guy. He like takes out these wooden stakes to like stake down, the tent. And she's like, get those away from me. Put those away. It's like, put wooden stakes away? What?
One of the guys like hurts his hand.
He cuts his hand and then she sucks the blood.
Yeah, like her, the best way to solve this problem is she immediately grabs his hand and starts sucking. Like, first of all, does that work? Like, it's not going to stop the wound, does it? Like,
no. She clearly she says she says something like she's like saliva works great for a wound.
I guess.
No. My answer is what medical books exactly tell you that? Because I'm pretty sure that's the worst thing you can do because you are in fact infecting it because you're introducing it to germs in your mouth.
So in case you haven't noticed by now, they're hitting it pretty hard on the head that she's a vampire. Right?
Oh no, there's more.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
more.
There's tons.
So then so there's like the one guy has like a cross necklace, and she gets all weird when she sees it. Then so I wrote down there's one scene where this guy has been hitting on her the most the entire time. The Justin character, if you will,
the younger of the three.
She like invites him into her tent, and she like takes off her clothes. She's like in her lingerie, and she's like, would you put sunblock on me? Do you remember the sunblock?
Yeah, I got it listed as super sunblock.
No, it's Stoker's Sundead 350.
Bram Stoker. Yeah. Yeah, again, in case you're too stupid to pick up on it, we're gonna lay it on real thick.
I wrote down this is the exact moment when I threw my remote at the TV and started watching YouTube videos on my phone. And I literally did. I had to stop watching this because I got so angry. I literally was like, ah! And then I just started watching YouTube videos. I think I watched Us, actually.
It's a better episode.
Yeah.
So I mean, it just kind of goes on like this.
Drags,
right?
Where it's like there's just weird incident, and the fat schlubby guy keeps being like, "There's something weird about her," and his
then he
friend,
like takes her off, or she takes him off.
No,
apart from the group.
She takes the one guy off, and then he just disappears.
Yeah,
and then they're like, "What happened?" And she's like, "I don't know.
Maybe she ate him." I also, like, just as an aside, these three guys are all in the same tent, and they're literally shoulder to shoulder with each other. I don't know if you caught that.
Nothing weird about that.
Yeah,
buddy.
they're just three dudes.
Just three dudes. Yeah. Just three sausages in a blanket.
I'm like, more dreams. The fat guy's missing. This is the worst vampire story ever.
So literally, my thing is, so the whole episode, she's a vampire. She's a vampire, right?
Yep.
She's a vampire.
Nope.
This entire thing was in the mind of Johnny.
Yep.
And now we are taking a fucking abrupt turn, like a left turn out of nowhere.
Yep.
And it turns out that the hot babe and him are survivors of a plane crash. This is probably the biggest twist in any episode this season.
Yeah.
It just comes out of nowhere. And he has been dreaming about this. And in reality, he and her have been eating the people the dead people from the plane crash.
Yeah.
They've been cannibalizing them to survive. And his friends were, I guess, his coworkers who are now dead.
Yep.
And that's the end of the A plot. Like, what?
Yeah. And was she the pilot or something? Like, because he doesn't know her from before. So I don't know.
No, she was something on the plane.
Yeah.
They met through the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah, they bonded through like surviving.
Which, like, could have been so cool that all this time he's been, his mind has kind of been blocking out this experience, but they just executed it so badly. Like, why wait until the last?
Yeah, but why even have the thing about the vampires?
Right,
What the fuck was that?
Yeah, like the coolest part of the episode lasts 10 seconds at the end, and then the story's over.
Oh, and then the B plot,
but
the B plot really tries to ruin it too.
Yeah.
So then go for it. The B plot.
They double down on this.
Yes.
So now there's the one thing I will say is that it's still kind of in the same environment, right? Like they're still within, like, the whole idea is that they're trapped in this like ravine almost, right? They can't get out.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're eating the other bodies.
Yeah, they're coming. They had to
become cannibals.
Yeah, they're coming to terms with having to eat their fellow passengers. More nightmares.
And they're isolated too. They're like their plane crashed in the middle of the woods, in the middle of nowhere, in a small ravine.
Yeah.
But it's a big enough ravine that you can't get out of it. You can't climb out of it. Yeah.
Yeah. They hear over the radio that the search has been called off.
Yep.
Right. These two start having a crazy affair and understand, like, they've only been down there for maybe a couple days, and he's already thrown away, like, he's engaged to.
Yeah, but he doesn't like his fiance. And in his defense, she is unbearable.
She is terrible. She's probably Mary Beth. I have a line that she is probably the worst character from this season.
The official search party's been called off. The search is still going on.
What are you talking about?
You don't know my fiance. Mary Beth will never quit.
Ah! Hey! Wait up, I've fallen again. You work for me. You're walking that fast on purpose. You like it that I keep falling down.
So the two people in the ravine just start fucking.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to...
With their clothes on, of course.
And it cuts to... No, they show hardcore penetration. In this is the one episode.
This is where they went all...
They let loose. They let loose, yeah. It cuts to like this whiny, entitled woman who she has hired her own private tracker who's this like older guy.
Yeah.
It's like a Sam Elliott
Like
type
a
character,
mountain man
like a
kind of,
mountain man,
yeah.
and he's being so patient with her, like as best as he can. But she's just like, oh my god, like stop running ahead. Why are you running ahead? Like I can't keep up.
Right.
And then he's like, why are you bringing all this shit? Like why don't you just let me do this on my own? Like,
and it turns out like well, first of all, she's only looking for her husband for the insurance money.
yes, because otherwise it's going to take months for them to declare him legally dead.
Yeah.
But if she finds his body first, then it'll speed up the whole process.
And this obviously all justifies the fact that our protagonist, Johnny, is having sex with his newfound friend.
No, the justification there is marriage sucks, dude. Like,
Right, yes.
Sleep around.
I forgot the
Find-
Freddy's Nightmares rule
Find
number 3.
yourself a Turk. Find yourself a Hank. Find yourself an Art. Find yourself a whatever the hot babe's name was in this episode. Just make it happen, folks.
Get on with your life.
Yeah.
So they end up finding them, right? The guy that she's hired to sort of take her through the bush, they find them. He goes to lower himself down, opens up his pack only to realize that Mary Beth, has replaced all of his like
The essential
necessary
things.
gear with like her shoes and
And
shit.
like a hairdryer or
Right.
some bullshit.
And he loses his mind. He's angry, right? Because now he's got to go back, right?
Get the proper
Get the
gear.
stuff and come back out.
And meanwhile, she, like a jackass, just falls in the
falls
ravine.
into the hole because like why not? And
then what follows is like them dicking around where she's
Yeah.
being like whiny, and then he's like, well, this is how we've been surviving. And then there's this sexual tension. There's like a love triangle
Right,
because
yeah.
she suspects something's going on.
She knows something's happening.
Yeah, she knows something's up, and they want to fuck, but they can't because his fiance's there. Meanwhile, while all this shit's happening,
There's this other character, the Butcher Marin or whatever, who is on the loose, and he's operating in the same area that this is all kind of happening, right? So the police are up there, but they're looking for him, right? They're not necessarily searching for this downed plane. I know what I would think is probably more important, but okay, fair enough.
Sure.
Right? Yeah. So you got all these characters kind of just running around doing really nothing, right? But they're all going to kind of come together.
and then basically what happens is like the madman guy, he runs into the Sam Elliott tracker and then just like kills him and takes his clothes.
Takes his clothes, yep.
And then he ends up falling into the ravine.
Right.
Well, and then they're just like, fresh meat. And then they just eat him.
So I
It's so goofy. They it's funny because, oh, hey, that piece of shit murderer got his comeuppance.
well, yeah.
But it's still so goofy.
It solves the problem that they had because Johnny and Tracker trick Mary Beth into eating some of the survivors. So she doesn't know until like they feed her some, and then you just ate some people, right? Then they all realize that they're running out of food. They're running out of people, and it's going to start to go bad, right? They all start kind of fighting, but just then the butcher falls into the canyon, and then they all kind of look at each other like, oh, the solution has just fallen into our laps, right? So instead of having to kill each other, they'll just and eat him instead.
Which they do.
Because now they're full-on cannibals. They don't they don't care.
Which they do.
Yep.
And then, but coincidentally, because the police were looking for the butcher guy, they find them in the ravine and they get rescued.
They offer them food from the truck that they have, but they're like, no, because now they've got a taste for flesh, and it can't be satiated any other way.
And this leads to our next episode, Dust to Dust.
What happened to Lieutenant Colonel Garrett's body?
It was disposed of. How?
In 3 courses.
Courses?
All right. Okay, you really want to know what happened?
We ate him.
Oh
You-
my
say,
god!
You and I have this as dead last.
Dead
right?
last.
Yeah.
It's the worst episode. This is a complete clusterfuck.
So it's a continuation because we needed more of the story of
It's
Johnny.
funny. I wrote that down. So I literally wrote down. I'm like, this is a follow up to Prime Cut. A schlubby man, Johnny, a hot chick, and their annoying and his annoying fiance, Mary Beth. Apparently, these were some of the most interesting characters this season because we needed to bring all three of them back for another entire new adventure.
There was so much meat on the bone from that first episode that we gotta get it. Meat on the bone. Okay.
I got it.
I love the fact that out of 22 episodes, we had this one pegged.
We
as the
both
first.
came
Yeah.
up as there had to. I was gonna pull my fucking hair out because I'm like, how is it possible we all dodged?
Yeah.
We nothing lined up, but I guess we did have two other crossovers, but they were on the opposite
other
list,
side of the list,
But
yeah.
still, but yeah, no, this is dead last. I wrote down, I hate every single moment of this miserable fucking episode.
Yeah.
And I stand by that.
Yeah.
I stand by that comment. Would you like me to start the plot? Or would you like to do it? Dust the dust, buddy.
I have a feeling that if I have to do the B story, I'm not going to be able to explain it
Okay.
because it's so.
I can't explain it either. But
I
I'll
can
try.
maybe do the A, but I got nothing on the B.
Go for the A.
So-
I'll try the B.
Starts off with our three cannibal characters who are now part of a Cannibals Anonymous group, right? Because they've realized that, okay, we probably shouldn't be doing this. We need to be weaning ourselves off this. And apparently they found enough other people to join this group, this sort of support group that they have, because they're having a meeting at
Which
their
I find
house.
hilarious. So
Yeah.
it's like they now have developed a taste for human flesh.
Yeah.
And it's become a problem. And so they're part of a Cannibals Anonymous group.
Yeah.
And this is such a problem in Springwood that this isn't like two other people.
Right.
There's like 20 people in this room.
I promise to never again raise my fork against my fellow man.
I got to note, this whole meeting is just wild. It's one of the few season 2 moments that remind me of the insanity of season 1. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gets close to that level. Yeah.
After meeting Johnny and Ginger, Tracker start getting it on again, because they're still doing their thing. Then some crazy guy comes.
So there's some bizarre thing where it's like, they're all living in the same trailer.
Right. Yeah.
They now all live in a trailer together.
Yeah. I guess
And
they
there's
feel
still,
like.
but
that's
then there's
the-
still some weird love triangle shit going on where he's still engaged to Mary Beth, but he's still fucking the hot chick. But Mary Beth's not okay with it. But
still doesn't really know for certain because
it's
they're still
weird.
hiding. Yeah.
It's weird. And then this guy shows up out of nowhere.
Yeah. Some crazy guy comes bursting into the house, complaining it's too late. They found me before he passes out.
Right. And then he wakes up and in a state of delirium, he attacks Johnny, and then the two women spear him because they have these like art, they have these like decorative spears
Right.
in the trailer, and they just like spear and kill the man.
Right.
Sure.
And now they've got this like dead body, right? What are we going to do with it? Right?
I guess we should dispose of him the only way we know how, by eating him.
So they're all they're back on the flesh now.
Oh, another connection to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So there's connections from our previous episode, buddy. We're talking about cannibals now. It all comes full circle.
That's sad. That's really sad. They then realize that the guy they ate is on the front page of the newspaper and he has a deadly disease from a science experiment.
Yeah,
or
there's like a
something.
news
Yeah.
article where it's like, this man escaped from a science experiment, gone wrong, and stay away from him because he's got a contagious, deadly virus in him. And they're all like, what?
Yeah. So there's a phone number in the newspaper article that they, for more information. So they decide to call because they want to find out, like,
Right.
okay, what is, without telling them exactly how they've come into contact with this guy, they want to know what's in store for them or if this is going to harm them, right? Obviously,
then they say something. They're like, "Did you eat anything he touched?" And then
It's
Mary
like, oh.
Beth like faints, and they have like a cartoon sound effect play.
They want to know if we ate anything that he might have touched. We may have.
No, fuck you.
I've got a note. That stupid scene where Mary Beth looks into the camera and Pratt falls forward
Yes.
completely killed the episode for me. It's like, you know, yeah, like
That's this episode. It's
Yeah.
that level of humor.
and you called it. I said her acting is possibly more over the top than in the Prime Cut episode. She's the worst. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's terrible. So then out of nowhere, this hazmat team shows up
Yep.
and they just like, they don't even hesitate. They just like spray them and it paralyzes them.
Yep.
So they just like knock out these 3 cannibals. They're just like, psh, and they're like, boo. And then they take them back to the lab where we're introduced to, there's no way you didn't have this down.
I don't have a name, but
Dr. Picard.
I'm Dr. Henry Picard, project psychologist.
oh yeah, I did have that. Yes, yeah.
Get out of here.
Yep.
Fuck you. What are you doing?
You do not have the permission to do that. Yeah.
So then they're at the lab and they get quarantined and they're put into like the whole set. They're put in like these 70s. It looks like a 70s science fiction set. Yeah. It looks like something out of Star Trek TOS.
The original, yeah.
The original series, not TNG.
Not Picard.
No,
Yeah.
not the good shit. It's like, it just looks like they're put into like these 70s sci-fi jumpsuits.
Yeah.
There's like, the girls are pink and his is blue, and they're in this lab set which has like cages. And it's so cheesy.
Yeah, like you would expect
looking.
like the flashing lights on the wall, like the street. Yeah. Just
Yeah.
stupid. Turns out that the guy they ate was an astronaut who was exposed to space dust that
which had some sort of alien parasite.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not good when you ingest it.
No.
Yeah.
And then like Johnny, his symptoms get the worst. So then like
Yes.
his symptoms start getting worse, and then it ends. It comes to a head when like he starts freaking out, and then out of nowhere he goes, "Beam me up, Scotty."
Beam me up, Scotty.
Johnny!
And then he just bursts into a dust of like blue powder.
Yeah. That's something about what this does to you is you start to like quote lines from
movies.
famous movies or shows. Yes. Why? Fuck off.
What were they
off.
thinking?
Yeah.
We'll get to that. It happens more in the B plot
That's
than
right.
this A plot, but so then it ends with like, and this is kind of funny, but like it ends with the lab people being like, okay, good news, guys. It turns out that only Johnny was actually infected. You two are safe. But since you know our dirty secret and you've seen all of our weird underground science shit, we're going to have to kill you.
Yep.
So we're going to reinfect you so that we can study the
Do
effects.
it again. Yep.
And that's it. And then they're like, okay, the way we're gonna do that is we've turned your friend Johnny into this protein shake. Drink up.
Yeah.
And there's actually a funny cut where it cuts to Freddy and he's like, he just drinks the protein shake. Because obviously it's disgusting. It's like, that's their friend.
Yeah. But he loves it. He's
Yeah,
fine.
but Freddy's just like, I don't fucking care. And he just drinks like the blue milk from Star Wars. Yeah. The B plot.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's how it ends.
That's the A
But
plot.
yeah,
And then so the B plot,
they're still in the lab.
the B plot hits a fucking brick wall.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't go anywhere. And the whole B plot is
It's
you
so
got the-
busy.
Oh,
Like,
it's just there's nothing, but nothing happens.
Yeah.
So the whole B plot is that we've got the 2 women now who are now infected again. Mary Beth and our tracker, whatever. They're in the lab, and it's just 22 minutes of them being like, "Let us out, let us out. This is wrong," and the lab geeks being like, "Should we let them out? No, we can't let them out. Should we let them out?" No,
One of
we
them
can't."
has like a,
The Picard.
Yeah.
The Picard guy.
Yeah.
The Dr. Picard is like, this is morally wrong. I won't be a part of this project. And he tries to take the moral high ground.
But then his like scientist buddies like plot against him as well. So it's just,
But then there's also shit where it keeps showing you scenes of like, apparently all this lab people are just fucking around too. They're like
Right.
fucking each other.
yeah.
There's like weird shit like that. And like Dr. Picard, he keeps like fantasizing about like saving them too. He's got like a crush. He falls for like Tracker or something. So he's like fantasizes about saving her. And this goes on and on and on. And the lab people are like bickering with each other. And you know what it is? It feels like they ran out of plot right at the 22-minute mark. And then they were like, oh, fuck. Well, we got to film something.
We got this set.
We got this set. And we have some, these actors are paid to the end of the day. Why don't you guys just do stuff? And then we'll make something out of it. And that's what it feels like. It feels like they had nothing to go off of. So they're just like, okay, everybody do random shit for the next 20 minutes and we'll stretch this out.
Like there are scenes with Mary Beth and Ginger just talking to each other about stuff. Like this is so arduous. Like for no reason. It's not advancing anything. Like there's no plot advancing.
And then what ends up happening is everyone gets infected with this fucking parasite and everyone ends up dying eventually and turned to dust. But as you said, for whatever fucking reason, when the virus goes through its final stages of its cycle, when you're about to go poof into a cloud of dust, you start saying movie quotes.
Yep.
Quotes from movies and or TV shows.
Don't cry for me, Argentina.
There's no place like home. There's no place like home. They're back. Live from New York, it's Saturday night.
Down the torpedoes! Full speed ahead!
I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille. I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too.
It's almost like when they hired the actors for this, they went to like a local theater company and said, okay, tell you what, we'll let you quote whatever your favorite line is from a movie right before you have this dramatic death. Yeah. And they all like disappear / explode when they die too.
Well,
like,
they all just poof into dust.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's how it ends. It ends with everyone just gets blown up and turns to dust. And there's zero explanation.
Yep.
They explain nothing.
Yep.
We don't know where the origin of the virus. We don't know. There's no motivation for what it was trying to do. They give us nothing. So can I ask a question?
Yeah.
What the fuck was the point of any of this?
Like,
why did we watch this?
It was awful.
It's just nothing. Yeah. This is the worst.
Yeah.
This is the Freddy's nightmares. This is the worst it fucking gets. It never gets worse than this. I actually think it's the worst episode of the entire series.
Yeah, all 44 episodes.
It goes fucking bottom of the barrel. We got dust to dust, and just barely above that is Do Dreams Bleed.
Yes, yeah.
a little bit above it.
Hey, did you catch at the end what the explanation was for why Ginger Tracker surprisingly hasn't died from this?
Oh no, she
does die.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought they all died.
No, yeah, she does, but not. Something happens at the end that prompts her to die. So here's the thing: for some reason, if you've been the organism is fueled by your sexual passion. So people are dying who have had recent sexual experiences, whereas with Ginger, it's revealed that. She has been celibate for months. And that's the reason why the organism hasn't killed her. But of course, at the end of the episode, she starts getting frisky with Dr. Picard. So there we go. And she dies.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Who
the
cares?
Dumbest thing.
Who cares? It's just 44 minutes. It's 44 minutes almost entirely. It's almost the A and B plot almost entirely take place in this lab.
Yeah.
And it's 44 minutes of just people sitting around in cages and talking about nothing and having conversations about nothing, and the plot moves nowhere, and then everyone just dies.
So between these two episodes, you're talking about 90 minutes of time. Oh. It was a waste of time.
I wrote down, this was painful to watch. Yeah. This episode in particular is so painful, is so boring. And why these characters? What was it about these cannibal protagonists that made them so interesting we had to give them 2 episodes?
Because not every episode in season 2 has a second episode, right? A lot of them do, but not all of them do. Why did this one get a second a second round. I don't understand. I don't even understand how it got a first round, but here we are.